M0 Nation, Jason Shepard here. I have a question for you. What's the difference between currency and proficiency? What is happening, M0 Nation? Jason Shepard here. I want to know in the comments, currency versus proficiency. What does it really mean to you? Before we get into that discussion, I'm going to read every comment, by the way. I want you to remember, head over to m0acontest.com because this month we are giving away an iPad. So many of you have already entered, and we'll be doing that via a big live stream, I believe, next week. So be watching for that as well. Currency versus proficiency. I'm sure there's some great comments down below in this video. You see, currency for me is, well, I checked the box, I met the FAA requirements, so I must be good, right? Proficiency is, would I let my spouse fly with that person, or my friend, or whomever that is, go fly with that person? Or would I take my kids flying? Would I take my spouse flying? Whatever that may be for you. That's how I answer the proficiency question. But before we even pursue proficiency, we need to make sure we're current. And for VFR and for IFR, what do we really need to make sure we're current? Well, we need to make sure we're doing a flight review. By the way, it's no longer called a BFR, a biennial flight review. It's just a flight review now, every 24 calendar months. Okay, check, we're doing that. And then there's something about carrying passengers. We need to make sure in the preceding 90 days, in the category and class and type, if applicable, we've done 3 takeoffs and landings. Tail wheel, they need to be at a full stop. Night needs to happen during night and be to a full stop here as well. But what does that look like? The preceding 90 days. Well, it actually works a little bit like this. You gotta see, it's a conveyor belt in a way. I was just doing this with our online ground school members actually on our Tuesday webinar. Let's say we have a conveyor belt here. And I'm not exactly known for my good art, so hope this is okay. Let's say I have a conveyor belt here. My conveyor belt is heading this direction, and this is a 90-day conveyor belt. From here to here is a rolling preceding 90 days, as they allude to. Well, let's say, just 23 Mike Zulu, daytime flying, I get my landings in, and I get 1 there, and I get 2 right here. Now, this conveyor belt is constantly moving. So day 91 comes along, and then on day 91, all of a sudden, this guy's moved down a little bit, and these 2 guys fall off, right? That day 91 was tough because I did 2 landings the same day there. I've got only 1 on my conveyor belt. But many of us make the mistake and think, well, I need to go up and do 3 takeoffs and landings. No, not quite. This guy just moved down here, so all I need to do is do 2 more landings because it's cumulatively, right? I need to have 3 takeoffs and landings on my rolling 90-day conveyor belt. Now, our instrument flying works in a similar fashion. What does 6157 say about our instrument flying? To give it a summary, in the preceding 6 calendar months, I need 6 approaches, I need holding, we don't get a number on the holding, and I need intercept and tracking procedures. So for my instrument pilots, it works in a similar fashion. However, this conveyor belt is not 6 months like we think about. It is actually 6 calendar months. So that makes approaches that you shoot on the 1st of the month much more valuable than an approach you just shot on the 30th of the month, because that approach is kind of, in a way, is only good for 5 months. Does that make sense? So during this rolling 6 calendar months, I need 6 approaches. 1, 2, this is a busy day. 3, 4, 5, and 6. I've got my 6 approaches. I also need a hold. I went and missed on one of these and I did a hold. There's my holding pattern. And of course, it also says intercept and tracking procedures, which you're doing each and every time here. But this is constantly moving, right? So you may have done this great training day, you may have done this, but eventually you're gonna get to the 1st of a month, because there's 6 calendar months, and this guy's gonna fall off here. Now, you've still got an impressive resume, but are you current for instrument flying? The answer is no. But do you need to go shoot 6 more approaches? No, you just need to go do a training flight and do 1 more. Now, where people get themselves in trouble is, let's say my hold actually happened on an approach back here. Then I'm good, I got 2 here, that's 5. I got 7 approaches on here. I'm actually doing better than the minimum the FAA prescribes. But there's gonna come a first of the month, because we're calendar months, where I lose my hold too. I still have 6 approaches by definition, but I don't have my hold. I'm missing the requirements. I need to go do a hold. Now, I don't need to go shoot a full approach. I need to do a holding procedure. And tasks is what 6157 actually defines it as. Now, let's say I continue to be in this state and I never get my hold in. I am out of currency. How long do I have to build this back up? Well, the FAA continues in 6157 to give you a 6 months of what we'll just simply call grace. You get 6 months of grace. You have 6 months of grace to get your conveyor belt back in line when it comes to instrument flying here. If for some reason you can't get that hold in for 6 months, weather, family, whatever it is, when you get to the end of 6 months, after 6 months has happened here, you've had 6 months of grace to try to get this back in here. You find yourself here. Now, what are your options? It's to do an IPC, essentially, at this point. You see, and this is just to stay current. Missouri Nation, I want to challenge you that we're not just pursuing currency in what we do. Honestly, 6 approaches, it's not going to be enough to keep you safe. 3 takeoffs and landings to carry passengers. I mean, imagine the feeling your passengers show up and you go, hey, wait here just 1 second. I got to go do 2 more landings. Like, this is something you should always have in the queue. Your conveyor belt should have like 11 approaches at any given time going through it. So this is something you don't have to think about. Ask for the approach when you don't even need it. Now, do keep in mind, it needs to either be in actual conditions or you need to be under the foggles, hood, some view limited device, simulated instrument conditions as well. Just to keep that in mind. You can't just VFR be shooting these things, but keep that in mind as well and be very purposeful about it. Get that hold in there, because where people get themselves in trouble on 6157 is missing that hold oftentimes. But then again, who just wants to be current? We're pursuing proficiency, and ultimately we're pursuing mastery. And like we say in our book, Aviation Mastery, mastery is a quest, not a score on a test. It's a never-ending journey to what you're pursuing. So I can't wait to read your comments below this video on YouTube, on Facebook. Thank you for the subscribes and the likes as well, depending on where you're watching this. Don't forget M0AContest.com. And if you received any value from today, I know you will love our online ground school. Check it out, M0ATrial.com to check it out and learn more. It's literally just live teaching this with our online ground school members. We do a webinar every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Ground school members, check in the comments down below as well. Have a blessed, abundant, outstanding rest of your day. And most importantly, remember, a good pilot is always learning. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you.